PrymalChaos. Hey guys, PrymalChaos here. Welcome to the channel. A lot of you astute viewers who've watched this channel for some time would know that I do have a place in my heart for Kamelot. I discovered the Black Halo many years ago. In fact, when I was building this studio, I was literally sanding the gyprock or the rock wall while pumping that album. That's how long I've been sitting in this room for. You know, that one always spoke to me as being just this beautifully produced, over-dramatic, melodic, powerful kind of tapestry of like, you know, power metal-y sort of stuff. And I was always taken by Roy Khan. I always thought he was one of the greatest storytelling voices that I'd heard in a really long time anyway. And so that, you know, that being said, I sort of devoured that album. A little bit of, Poetry for the Poisoned as well, I kind of got into as well. And then I kind of sort of fell off, and I've still got those albums as, you know, personal favorites and stuff like that. But when they switched singers, I was really pleasantly surprised to find that Tommy was about as good as a replacement as you'll ever get for any singer in a band who's great, right? You just don't find somebody who's that much alike, similar to the original vocalist, but also just a massive rock star in his own right. You know what I mean? He's got his own flavor. Exceptions would be things like, you know, like Floyd Jansen taking over from the other two Nightwish singers was just a perfect fit. You know, it's the same sort of thing. And if you do have to swap out your vocalist, getting somebody like Tommy in there is just a home run every day of the week. Having said that, by that point, I'd already kind of moved on with my musical tastes a little bit. And so I spent a little bit of time with Silverthorne. So this song I'm doing today, full disclosure, I have heard before. I haven't fully committed it to memory, but I do know that I've heard it. But what I was really excited about with this one was to check out the live performance of it, because it occurs to me, I had to do a search because I've made over, you know, around 300 videos now. And it comes to the point now where I don't remember what I've done. And so I had to get on YouTube and search for, you know, PrymalChaos Kamelot. And I don't think I've done a Kamelot video. And I think the impetus behind that sort of missing section of the catalog is because, you know, I'm fairly familiar with anything that I'd want to check out anyway. So the last thing I want to do is do songs that I'm familiar with, because then it's not really a reaction, right? In this case, what I'm reacting to is the live performance. I've never seen Kamelot live, and I haven't spent a lot of time checking out live performances and stuff with them. So this will all be new. The added benefit of this one, obviously, is it's got the guests Elise Reed. Tell me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I know that's a stage name, so whatever. And Alyssa white-gluz as well, who I've reacted to before a couple of different ways. So I'm not unfamiliar with them, but I'd love to see how all this comes together. And I know that Kamelot, when they tour, oftentimes will take these duet sort of songs or songs that have female parts, and they'll bring guest vocals in to great success fairly often. So this would be really cool. I'd love to hear Tommy perform live, the nature of the production of the band itself, and the song. I mean, I know it well enough to know that I already like the song, but the two guest vocalists, and let's see what they bring to the table as well. So this is gonna be really cool. I'm actually pumped for this one. Before I jump in though, I just want to say this video today is brought to you in part by Enchroma. Enchroma make glasses for colorblind people like myself, and they make corrective lenses that allow colorblind people to see the world a little bit closer to how everyone else does. So if you or anyone else you know is colorblind, click the link in the description, take you to the website, and you can do an eye test, find out what kind of deficiency you might have. And while you're there, you can pick up some glasses. You know, they'll just, you know, help you see the world a little bit more like everyone else. I'm a big fan. I wear mine every day. I've had a few comments lately from other people who have too, which is always great to hear. But let's just jump straight into the reaction. This is Kamelot featuring Alyssa white-gluz and Elise Reed, Sacrimony. Here we go. Straight in. Here we go. Oh yeah, I recognize this song. Very dynamic live show, right? That looks really cool. Come on. It's like a night without awakening. Oh. The truth is lost and maybe never to be found. Like the shadows of my pantomime. I mean, I got to stop there and just talk about that opening verse. This is the thing that I was concerned about when they swapped out Roy Khan, and that was the fact that he just has this ability to feel the melody and to twist and pull things out syllabically to sort of really accentuate certain beats and certain rhythms, but also at the same time sound very organic and storytellery, if that's a word, right? There's a prosody there that's sort of a musical theater kind of ability to almost have a conversation through the lyrics. He doesn't see the notes on the page and sing the melody. He's elasticizing everything and drawing it out. And there's a beautiful legato nature to his melodies. And I don't think there's another singer on the planet who understands that process as much as Tommy does. He gets it. He knows what Roy Khan was bringing to the table. I don't know. I haven't heard anything Tommy did previously. So whether or not moving to Kamelot has sort of made him sort of think about and reassess how he processes melody lines, but it seems like he just, right out of the gate, he's just nailing it, and I know this is all old news for Kamelot fans who've been around for a long time. I'm rediscovering them, right? So just give me a break. But yeah, listen to that first verse again. And also just the casual nature. He's been running around the stage, he's being energetic, and then he just drops into this this beautiful, well-controlled, breathy flow. You swear he was in a studio in front of a microphone, having just rested, But just listening to how he elongates phrases, right?
Passing life each day, carve it on a wall. It's like a night without awakening.
So rather than, it's like a night without awakening, it's like a night without awakening. There's just so much more flow and just casual nature to it. It's so beautiful. It sounds like poetry rather than prose, if that makes sense.
Each day, carve it on a wall. It's like a night without awakening. The truth is lost and maybe never to be found. Like the shadows of my past.
Who can sing that good squatting down? What a talent. Oh.
Voices echo within my distorted mind. Is this for real or just a dream?
God, his pitch is flawless too.
Sing for me, angel of afterlife, calming me down. Chaos inside my nebula, and make the wrong turn to right. In a celestial light, forgive my sacrimony. Tell me what they say that I'm supposed to know. Tell me every little detail.
Great instrumental sounds too. Oh. Okay, I'm guessing this will be Elise. And I guess this is Lisa, right? There we go, yeah. Oh, he's just throwing down some riffs. Wait on. Oh, that's right, of course, yeah. I forget she growls, which is stupid. Come on. Nah. God, they just look fabulous on stage, don't they? Great timbre. Come on. Forget about it, man. Come on. What a showstopper. Come on. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is one of those things where if you're at that concert and you witness this, it's a game. This is the one you tell everyone about, right? When you're talking about great live situations, live performances, I think that if this was in your memory banks of being there, this is the one that you'd want to tell everyone about. What a great combination, like you've got Elise with her, just an amazing timbre, right? She's got a beautiful sort of higher register, but still got a lot of core and a lot of depth to it. And it never like she's singing high notes, but it never sounds shrill, right? It's really sort of still very, very comfortable. Then you've got Elisa coming out and she does like the aggressive vocal part. But then when they come together at the end, because Alyssa is so versatile, they're doing like the 3-part vocal and harmonizing with each other and just having this moment at the end when they come together. It's so beautifully, I mean, I don't want to use the word choreographed. I'm sure they sort of walked through it at a rehearsal or something like that, but still it's not, it's like, it feels very much like a natural rock performance. And I'm sure it was a one-off thing, or maybe they did this on a tour. I don't know, maybe Amaranth and I mean, whoever Elise was singing with at this point were touring together. I don't know, however it went down. What a performance. One thing I wanted to point out too is Tommy, when he sort of goes from that low sort of comfortable voice up into this, you can hear it's more of like a compressed, I guess it's like a mix, but you can see his technique in the fact that it's effortless, right? He's lifting everything up and he's holding that support and sort of pushing these notes out in a way, like you can see he's completely relaxed. And it's all happening here. It's not like up there. It's like, oh, and you can get that same effect by relaxing. In fact, you can get a much better version of that effect if you relax everything and you sing with everything in a relaxed, comfortable state, even though you're sort of in that higher part of your voice. The natural impetus for most people is to sort of go and sort of lift everything up and go for the, oh, rather than, oh, which is much more comfortable, easy, far less stress on every part of your vocal process, but he's just so, I mean, again, I imagine he feels really comfortable in this register, but even then it just looks like he's just talking, right? Which is just perfect technique. And you can hear it. He sounds amazing, right? No matter what note he's going for, he never looks like he's having to position himself or to steady himself to get to it. It just flows out of him like a comfortable sentence, It's amazing. Let me jump back in. I want to hear a little bit more from Elise. Oh, wow, yeah. I wish this was a little louder in the mix. Because it sounds like if you were there at the venue, that would have been blasting you. But in this, whatever they've done here with the DVD mix or whatever, it's not high enough in the mix, which is a little disappointing because it doesn't sound powerful and you know that it is, right? Having said that, I commented earlier, the mix itself sounds amazing. Like the depth of the guitars and the bass and the kick drum and everything just sounds really kind of punchy, and it's got that low growl that you want, but still heaps of detail in the high end. It's really well put together. It's just, if I had one grievance, it's that Alyssa's vocal here is a little too quiet. Come on. So hang on, I wanted to jump back and find maybe here. Again, I'd love to hear more of her sort of high operatic notes there as well. They're a little bit sort of buried as well. But I guess it's kind of like supposed to be an atmospheric vocal, so it kind of makes sense. And I was going, is she got an accent? I can hear an accent. I'm just looking up at Wikipedia here. I brought her up. And she's Swedish, which kind of, yeah, it adds up when I'm hearing her kind of the way she's enunciating. But man, I'm nerding out at this point. It's become less of a reaction and more of a guy on the internet nerding out over a cool video. If there's one thing the power metal genre understands, it's how to make women powerful, right? Like just on stage, the way that they present themselves and the way they dress and their energy and their, you know, their presence on stage always seems God tier. You know what I mean? It seems very powerful and amazing. And I think that's something every other genre of music could probably learn from. Like, look at this entrance, man. Everyone in the house is like, come on, you know? Very cool. Yeah, and I just want to catch this finale part again where they all come together as well. Again, awesome pitch. Yeah. All right, man. I've geeked out enough. This was great. And you know what? It's making me kind of, strangely enough, it's making me want to jump back in and check out more Star One and more Arion. Because this is that whole supergroup vibe, right? Just this particular song where they've brought in the guest vocalists. It has that sort of energy to it that just reminds me of, you know, that sort of supergroup musical theatery kind of rock show thing that seems to really have a home in this genre, right? Because as I always say, power metal people always just seem a little bit like frustrated musical theater people who are just edgier. and I mean that in the best possible way, because they love the drama. They love like strong melody, impactful kind of musical moments, a lot of light and shade in their composition. And of course using, you know, more orchestral sounds and stuff through using synths and keyboards and things like that. But, you know, it's oftentimes the bands that have the best vocalists are the ones that really lean into that. And it almost feels like you're at something like an amazing rock opera, but without it being sort of, like a Broadway production or something like that, where sometimes I feel like with mainstream musical theater, and again, I'm an outsider looking in, so correct me if I'm leaving out a massive chunk of how the world really works there. But to me, it always feels like musical theater always plays it a little bit safe as far as being edgy, right? Whereas with things like, you know, the power metal sort of musical theater-esque kind of productions, it always feels like they're happy to push that extra boundary into leaning into the heavy metal aspect of it enough that people in the metal community are comfortable sort of going, yeah, that's metal, right? Whereas you can have some pretty aggressive sort of powerful songs in traditional musical theater with some pretty heavy sort of stuff in it, but, you know, you won't find like double kicks and you won't find those elements, you know, like essentially growled vocals and things like that. And so that's kind of where the line's drawn, I guess. But as a raw concept idea, I mean, how many power metal bands do you know who do concept albums? They're essentially rock operas, right? In fact, they often are called rock operas. They're just not presented on stage with actor vocalists. You know, they come out and sometimes they'll be in character or whatever. But realistically, you're going to see a rock show with all the people who perform on the album. Sometimes they'll be wearing a costume that'll, elicit a response based on the material, but they're not coming out there and performing the show as if they're acting it out, right? And that's kind of a major difference. But fundamentally, the concept of the music is by and large the same. At least to my sort of rookie experience perspective, right? Because I'm not a huge musical theatre guy, and I like a bit of power metal, but again, I'm not super versed in this. I like a bit of Nightwish, I like a bit of Kamelot, I like a bit of everyone else in that sort of ilk, but I'm not like a dyed-in-the-wool fan of the genre. I love the drama, I love the incredible musicianship, the incredible vocalists and stuff. But it's not, like I'm not walking around wearing the t-shirts or whatever. But I never cease to be impressed by artists like this, ever. They're just so amazing and probably underrated in the mainstream. I don't know why somebody who, say, for example, is like a huge Andrew Lloyd Webber fan or name your musical theatre production, or someone who grew up listening to Les Miserables, something like that, or Les Mis, as it's called in Australia. It's always embarrassing. Someone who likes that kind of music, I don't see that there's too much of a stretch for them to get into this, which is why I don't understand why a lot of power metal stuff isn't more mainstream. But you know what? Some things are best kept to their core audience, I guess. And it's not like it's a small audience either. Anyway, that's about all I got to say about this one. I've prattled on way too long. If you feel like I've brightened your day, or if you want to support the channel, feel free to just buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link in the description. Or you can just hit super thanks under the video. More importantly, like, share, follow, subscribe. Send this to anyone you think might appreciate the reaction. Hit me up in the comments. What else should I do Camelot-wise? Understanding that I am really familiar with, like I said, the Black Halo, Poetry for the Poisoned, a little bit of Silverthorn. But outside of that, I'm a bit of a rookie. In fact, I don't think I've even heard their first album. I think one of my buddies was giving me crap about that recently. If there's something from the early days of Kamelot, like pre-Black Halo, that maybe they've done in a live format fairly recently that's a really good vibe, hit me up about that too. I'd love to know if I'm missing anything there. Thanks again, guys. Stay primal. I'll catch you on the next one.